is it StreamYard that you use?
Yeah, I use StreamYard, and to be honest with you, it's not like the Flash stuff. It was when I first started, we were talking about LinkedIn live streaming earlier on. When I first started doing stuff with LinkedIn, obviously you have to use something to work with the interface.
Yep.
So literally, I just went and tried what was available at the time and went, oh, this one's really easy. I'll just use this. That was literally my choice mechanism.
Well, so I'm just going to jump straight to question 7 now, but it was almost when, so people ask me what I do, and you even before the call. So we're talking via Zoom, and there's a 500th of a second delay, which I found when I edit these up, which is a nightmare. But anyway, I'll deal with it. It's a first world problem. But anyway, but I talk to the guest on Zoom, and I run that through a software program called OBS, which is free. And it's a drag and drop kind of build when you can set up different scenes. So I'm going to cut you off one sec. I can jump back to my main camera, then back to the interview, then back to the countdown. The voice is gone. And the idea is that you set up all these different scenes for what you want. Yes, we're back. And it's a great way to build up what you want, and you add in the audio and take it out. And it was just because I'm the world's worst perfectionist. The amount of time I've spent on this, and even when I do my classroom sessions, the amount of effort it was to have a live clock in the corner, which gives the real world time. I was like, I needed it because BBC have got it and I want it.
And you want and make sure it's the right way round. You know,
Yes.
There's always that thing about the mirror thing, and you only realise that halfway through, and then you go, oh no, it's backwards. And it's been an exciting learning curve, really, though, I think especially the last 18 months, all this tech, hasn't it?
So for you and for your business, this is like a scattergun. It's like a Christopher Nolan movie, which is jumping backwards and forwards. But so for your business, what you do, how has like live stream, what's been the impact? How have you like found it?
Well, it's really interesting. The first time that I ever sort of did like live stream stuff was like a million years ago on Periscope. Do you remember Periscope?
I still use Periscope. So I run from OBS via something called restream.io, which is my thing. And then it goes from that thing into like 7 other things where it goes to LinkedIn, Facebook, Periscope, then to Twitter. And I tried Instagram, but it doesn't work because the ratios. Instagram wants a portrait tall, and I didn't like that anyway. And LinkedIn and stuff. So I still use Periscope.
Oh my goodness. Right. So I started when it was like, Periscope, like on your phone.
Yeah, I remember.
And I used to do, I think it was a Tuesday or something. I did Tuesday nights at 6 or something. And for nearly a year, I went on for like 10 minutes or whatever. And I just used to talk about sales stuff, just the most random stuff in the world. But because at the time I was still out training in the world, it got to the point where I was doing those things from, hi, here I am in Belfast Airport. It's just like, what are you doing? But it was such fun, and it was such a cool audience. I loved doing that. But what was also really good about that was that it felt like really safe. It was a really safe place to play. So like that's where I first did live streaming, and then that kind of phased out. You know how sort of everyone fell out of love with it, and then I did a lot of YouTube stuff, and that's great. But it's really funny. However eloquent you are live, as soon as you're like, I have to pre-record something like this, it's like, hi, what's my name again? I can't remember my name. And it's just like 5,000 cuts later.
See, that's why I purposely do everything in one take and I just wing it. So I prep the structure like a jazz musician. I have the questions and stuff, but I just go on the fly. I don't care. But I think for me, it's the authenticity because of that. So it takes all the pressure away.
And I also think as well, I don't know about you, but interesting, obviously you're delivering train and this, that and the other, it's that whole thing that, sometimes going with your thought stream and stuff a bit and just keeping going. There's something in that, So then I got LinkedIn Live, and then I was scared to go on it. So my team were like, we've got LinkedIn Live, like it's amazing. I was like, brilliant. Yeah, but like my old boss from 20 years ago might actually see me doing something and think I'm rubbish at it. So then I had this whole like angst about it, and then I didn't use it because I didn't know like what to do with it. And then we went into second lockdown, and at 4 o'clock the night before we went into second lockdown here in the UK, I went, I'm just going to start going live at 9 o'clock every morning for all the sales teams who are sat at home in their pants getting a bit bored. I'm going to just cheer them up before they hit the phone. So that's what I did all the way through second lockdown. The good thing with that is by the time you've done that, Like you're kind of like you're over yourself, you know. But the only problem with it was it got towards like it was getting towards Christmas, and I just remember people saying they're going to keep lockdown going till like January and February. And I was just going, I can't keep getting up for this for 9 o'clock every morning.
But it's tough both to create content regularly every single week or day or whatever. And just so I make a commitment that every Friday morning at 9 a.m. I do my classroom style. It's a bigger setup. But I just, no joke and no word of a lie, it's probably Thursday night. I'm trying to think what I'm going to talk about. And I literally on my setup here, I have A4 pieces of paper. I've got a black Sharpie marker. I use kind of gaffer tape to stick it on the wall, and I'll just go through them. But I just wing it. Like people might think hours of work goes into this, and don't get me wrong, yes, years of work goes into learn it, and that's just my prompt to talk about it. But it is a strange feeling that when you're broadcasting and nobody's watching, Simon always watches. He's one of my favorite. Any comments, and I have this stuff come up. But when there's no interaction, oh, it's heartbreaking. You just got to keep going. Keep smiling. But for me, like it's part of the game that almost depending on what your goal is longer term, you know, I'd love it. So I do classroom sessions 4 times a week now for people around the world, but I would love to do that, you know, with 1,000 people in every session and actually be Simon Sinek level kind of, and you don't get there without the practice. So it's almost good in some ways that when, again, we spoke before we came on air, that when stuff goes wrong, because it does, and it will, almost it's just laugh it off. Nobody cares. And truth is, probably nobody's watching either. But what they do see is, for me, so I don't know if you do this. So when I basically link to, I didn't do it today, but when I do my Friday morning stuff, I normally says live Q&A, the date, and then comma, and then I put www.roadmapmba.com. And then but the reason why is when that pops up on people's Twitter, they can click on it. And it's like, but just as a business development tool, just to stay on people's radar, even if they don't watch the full thing, which they probably won't, but you're still like just chipping away. Hi guys. Hi guys.
Remember me.